I saw you on CNBC yesterday talking about FANG stocks. At the end of the video clip, you mentioned that it would be ideal to own both mega tech names as well as some growth stocks. When you say growth stocks, are you talking about the companies Cathy Wood is heavily investing in or something else?
There's many of those are that Cathy's invested in. We have a view around transformation that I think we share with Cathy. We have a different view about valuation.
Mhm.
And so we want to invest in those transformative companies at the right valuation. And so, yes, it is. Some of those companies overlap with what Cathy. I think we're more conservative on our valuation. And give you an example of a company that we own, which is Coinbase.
Mhm.
Coinbase surprisingly is generates a lot of cash. They invest a lot too, but it's a surprisingly good business. The reason why the company doesn't get the credit from investors, understandably, is that it is dependent upon obviously cryptocurrencies and how they're going to be trending, and they want to get in. They are getting into NFT and NFT marketplace as well. Coinbase is,
Mhm.
and there's just a lot of concern from investors, understandably so. Like, what is the true growth rate? We don't really know what the true future of crypto is. We're believers that crypto is going to have a place, that it's going to become, this sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but it's going to become more regulated, that will increase its adoption. And I think that Coinbase will be a beneficiary from those. But that would be like an example of a holding that is in this more risky kind of emerging tech space.
Mhm. Talking about Coinbase, I also own Coinbase. One of the concerns I have is actually the revenue source, because at the moment, the best amount of money come from commission fee. And it's obvious that they cannot keep going like that because there are some other competitors who do not charge any commissions. So do you see any chance for them to rectify this issue?
Well, our belief is that the commissions will slowly go down, but we think that ultimately that they will have a commission rate that is going to be much higher than any of the competition. And the reason is that what Coinbase offers is it's an exchange. This is a similar effect of having the volume that brings in more volume, and I think that's an important piece to a successful exchange. And there's also a credibility piece. So when you're dealing with Coinbase, there's a credibility. If there was some fraud, if you had your tokens taken away, stolen from you, they will back those up. And so I think that there's a benefit of value in that commission that it's similar to what's going on with the App Store and Apple, and they charge a higher commission. And I think that commission rate's going to go down over time, but I think it's going to be higher than the industry average. I have the same view. I think there is some real value that Coinbase is offering that does support a commission rate higher than the industry.
Great, good points. Apart from Coinbase, could you mention some of more growth stock names? Because just for your information, my channel is not about picking up the specific stocks. We have a variety of choices of investment, and we study, we research, and to find out more values and to find out more stories about the stock. So if you could just mention what kind of growth stocks you are interested in, maybe we can look at more closely. Would it possible?
I love it. And I would, it's important for me to say, we've had comments about Apple and Tesla, Coinbase, and I'll make some other comments. This is just my opinion. It is not investment advice. It's
Sure, yes.
an important piece here. So my opinion is a company like Farfetch. That company is a
Designer shop.
yeah. It's they sell luxury goods. When I go on their website, for me, they're not products that I would buy. They're too expensive. I'm too frugal, I guess, to be purchasing some of those. But what's surprising to me about that kind of the high-end luxury space is just how resilient it is through good times and through bad. And you would think that during recessionary periods is that these businesses would get hit harder. and they're negatively impacted during recession, luxury goods, but they're not as impacted, I think, as many investors believe. So that would be an example of a company that we see as kind of transformative, really taking luxury goods and increasing the amount that they have. They're getting more luxury goods on their platform and kind of expanding that. Another company that has a tech angle to it because the product itself is very technical, but it's not as tech forward just in terms of kind of the underlying business, but as Formula One. And this is something where I think that it is still underappreciated about what it could, how it could go mainstream. And I have a belief that Apple just recently brought on Major League Baseball. I think the next thing that they're gonna bring on is football, American football, and then eventually I think that they probably bring on Formula One. It really fits with their customer base, and the sport's gotten a lot of attention over the past few years from a Netflix documentary that really has propelled its popularity. But I think that this is just for U.S. investors, especially. Formula One is really grossly underappreciated. How big it can be, and so that would be an example of another kind of emerging theme.
Okay, great. And thank you, Jin, for sharing a few names with us. We really appreciate it. I know you have small kids, so if you want to buy only one stock for them for their future, what would you buy for them?
It'd be Apple.
Apple.
I think that you have the backstop of a great business. I think that what they're going to do around hardware as a subscription. I think what they potentially can do around getting into other markets. It's an incredibly well-run company. I think that the successor to Tim Cook probably is Jeff Williams, and he has a lot of respect in the company, and I have a lot of respect for him. And so I think, when I think about my kids, I think about what's the leadership at the company going to be in the next 10, 20 years. Tim Cook's not going to be in the business in 10 years. I think Jeff Williams is the right person. And I think that despite what seems like an incredible valuation at $3 trillion, I think that there is still upside. I wouldn't, for my kids too, I'm not, this is not something that I would expect to 10x, obviously. If we want to go in that category, then you look at the Farfetches of the world or the Coinbases. Those are the ones that have a lot more risk. But I would pick something that is more stable and just have sleep well at night type of a company.
Great. So Apple's story has not finished yet then.
I don't think best days are to come.
That's fantastic. Jin, I think it'll be my last question of the day. Please, can you kindly share some advice for beginner investors in Korea? Because just for your knowledge, in Korea, the stock investment used to be something evil. So it was considered as a gambling. Not many people were involved in stock market, and it was just recently people start to realize that they have to invest. Putting the cash in the bank account is not very healthy because of the inflation and so on. But because people don't have a lot of experience, they get hurt a lot, especially when there's a volatility and so on. Could you give some advice as a long-term investor? What would be the important thing to be successful in this market?
My advice is to wait your period of investment. Do a little bit at a time. Do not buy a full position initially. And I'm stepping outside of companies that you believe in, because everyone believes in different companies and has different things that they're passionate about. But once you've identified a company where you are passionate about and you think has a good outlook to it, and you want to put money to work, only put money to work that you can lose, and separately buy that over, think about averaging into that investment over a year period. And what I think is a healthy thing to do is to say, identify a company and say, I'm going to buy it in 4 pieces. I'm going to allocate a certain percent to this, a small percent that I can lose, and then buy it over every quarter, regardless of where the stock is at, assuming the fundamentals don't change. You just keep buying it. When it goes up, you're upset, by the way, that you didn't buy more early. You had it right, and you're frustrated. When it goes down, you're scared because you're buying more when it's going down.
That's right.
And you just have to embrace that you're going to feel one of those two initially, but over the long term, it's the best and safest way to de-risk investing in equities.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jin. So I think that's it for today. Let's call it a day. Me as well. I always watch you only for 2 minutes, 3 minutes from CNBC News. And today, I think the most valuable part of today's content is to get to know you better. I was really happy to learn about your investment theory and also the life philosophy. About the future. I really appreciate this time. It was very valuable.
Appreciate it too, Charles. Thank you. It's things I feel passionate about, and it was really enjoyed discussing them with you. So thank you.
Yes, it was very enjoyable. Hopefully, we'll have another chance in the near future.
Can't wait.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Jin. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.